Eastern PA Weather Authority meteorologist Bobby Martrich here with your outlook for the weekend, June 11th and 12th, 2016. It's not often we start off with a moving radar, but this is showing a line of showers and thunderstorms that is going to be affecting our area on Saturday, at least in parts of the area, and it does carry some severe storm potential. So just want to show you where this is originating from. This is, of course, the state of Michigan, and you can see storms are progressing across the northern portion of Michigan at this hour when the video was done, and of course over Lake Michigan itself, moving off to the southeast. So this is all part of the same system, and that is going to be affecting our area on Saturday. We look at the models now and take a look at what we're seeing, and it's being driven by an area of low pressure that is off to our north up here. It's going to have a warm front with it that's going to be dragged through first, and then a cold front back here. This is moving off, all this activity is moving off to the south and east here. Now, all of this activity you see up here is expected to head over to New England. That is not the part that's going to be affecting us. Once that area of rain moves through, the warm front will be dragged through our area from west to east, and then you'll have some storms that are going to line up just north of the state and press off to the south and east, and mainly affect are just the eastern half of Pennsylvania, and then at least for the strongest impacts that we're expecting today. We're getting into the overall setup, and I showed this in yesterday's video as well. When you have this area of low pressure moving off to the north, you have a trough axis that was in place for the last couple of days. That gave us that cool, kind of refreshing air. In some cases, some people thought it was pretty cold and had to turn the heat on, but this is what's going to drag this warm front through the area. This warm front's going to be not making it very far east, and that's because of this trough is going to be very stubborn and hard to move out. At the same time, you have a warm surge of air coming in behind this warm front, cold front well off to the northwest, so any storm activity is going to be firing ahead of it, and that's going to move off to the south and east here. Now, we're expecting this to be kind of a congealed line when it moves through. So it, there's going to be less of an emphasis on tornadoes. However, we looked at some of the soundings today, from the NAM that ran this evening, and they were quite impressive. Not sure if that's a little bit of a overkill there, but for right now, Storm Prediction Center, the latest information we had, this will be updated on weather alerts on Saturday morning. This has a slight risk of severe storms from pretty much all of our coverage area in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, except for the southern portions, mainly Kent and Sussex County and Delaware, maybe Cape May and Cumberland County, and southern New Jersey, just a marginal risk. But the area that we think is going to be highlighted for the strongest severe storm potential would probably be right in here. This would probably be your corridor of the heaviest storms. And then again, if I wanted to do this, I'm going to change this to I can't change it on the fly here, but worried about a tornado threat being right in this area here. So if you can get a line segment that comes through, generally a line segment is a bowing segment that drops off to the south like this. Sometimes on either end of a bowing segment you get a mesovortice, which is on either end. It's called a bookend vortice. When you get some rotation can happen on either end of this line. So depending where the line sets up, you have some rotation on either end of that as this presses off to the southeast. If that's the case, we'll have to watch out for some tornadoes, because these soundings definitely support that kind of thing. So we're not calling for an outbreak of tornadoes or anything like that, so don't get scared or get your hopes up, or whatever the case may be. But there is a potential for at least the biggest threat being wind damage from any squall lines that form. Now here's a cold front coming through 7 o'clock in the morning, or excuse me, the warm front. You can see this moving across our coverage area during the day. So you can see it move through the course of the morning. Here's 8, 9, 10. You can see where it's going. Not a lot of precipitation with it, but you can see where the warm front's going. And at that point, you have the warm front kind of situated out here. So we're all warm sectored in this area here, and at the same time, up to our north, you got some storms building here, and then also back here. This we think is going to form into a line. This is looking at noon here. So at some point, this line is going to build to the north as it switches over to the 4-kilometer NAM and move down to the south, and that's what we think has a potential to bring the strong damaging winds. And we do think it remains linear. Definitely a linear mode type thing, but again, on either end of the bookends, you could have if you have a bow echo that sets up, you could have a mesovortice on either end that could lead to some rotation and some brief spin-ups, So we'll be looking out for that. But you see what happens as it gets down to the south here. It kind of falls apart, and that's because you're losing daytime heating. This is now 8 o'clock, and most of the activity is starting to dissipate. So we'll follow this closely here on Saturday, and we'll update, obviously, on the Facebook page and all of our social media outlets as needed. But right now, I don't see this as a major outbreak. This is not a big thing. Still a slight risk, and a slight risk means 15% chance of seeing severe within 25 miles of any given point. That also means 85% you don't see severe, so it's not a guarantee. This system will move off the coast. Going to get quite breezy here on Sunday. You see the isobars almost right on top of each other here, which means it's going to be pretty windy. You have a high pressure moving in, strong high pressure to the left, exiting low pressure up here in New England. It's going to be a mostly sunny day, but it's going to be pretty breezy. So secure any loose objects because they're going to go flying if you haven't done so already from the night before. And then we get into Monday, another nice day. Tuesday, there's going to be a frontal boundary in the vicinity. I think what to watch for are southwestern areas here for a possible shower. Elsewhere, probably just mostly cloudy, and that's it. It does cool down a little bit, if you want to call it that, for Monday and Tuesday. Cooler than it will be this weekend, and then it gets right back warmer again as we get into Wednesday through at least next Saturday, and then really warm once we get into Sunday and next week. And really warm, challenging 90 degrees again. So that up and down stuff that we've been doing, hanging around normal or slightly below, that's probably over. And also over is the precipitation, it looks like. We're not expecting any significant precipitation, or maybe no precipitation at all, for the next 10 days. So it's going to be an extended period of time here. I'm going a lot to 10 days here. We usually don't do this in a video, but plenty of dry conditions expected for a prolonged period of time. Maybe just an isolated shower for southwestern areas later Tuesday, and that's it, other than what goes on today, and that's all you have in the 10-day forecast. I'm Eastern PA Weather Authority meteorologist Bobby Martrich. That is your outlook for the weekend, June 11th and 12th, 2016. Make sure you check out the Facebook page and any other social media outlets like Twitter that we post on for any updates today on any severe weather. Take care.